said, I'm J.R. Wheels Joy. Grew up here in Cushing, Iowa. Now I run my business parapolishing here at a shop I watched my dad build in 1998, located in Cushing, Iowa. I used to run heavy equipment with my dad. I did excavator, dozer. I've been, 7 years old. I started running a dozer. 11 years old, I started running an excavator. And then when I was 25, I started driving truck and hauling grain for Andy Getch out of Galva, Iowa. And drove truck for a little over a year, almost 2 years before I got in an accident where I broke my neck and back. And then I almost ripped my left arm off in 2016. That happened. And unfortunately, everything I knew about life changed at that moment. And from there, I started putting life back together and pushing the boundaries of what I was capable of. And 7 years ago, actually today, I started dabbling in trying to learn how to polish aluminum. And that's when parapolishing kind of started. And people started trusting me to try to revive some aluminum for them. And now we're a pretty decent sized company and building and adding employees constantly and doing some pretty crazy stuff. The craziest thing we've been trusted with this far was partnering up with Gavin Disney in January of this year to polish Andy Getch's cab over and his slat-sided 2025 Wilson cattle pot for Louisville, which is where I met Cody down there.
Yeah, tell us about that. I think when we were there in Louisville, you told us that something like 16,000 hours or something?
1,600 hours.
1,600 hours of polishing?
Yeah, we got backed in the door January 1st and started doing test spots, and I got my hired man Jason started on the inside and trying to figure out the rhythm of what I needed to do on the outside to make it everything it could be, and it ended up getting completely sanded 120 to 800, and then from there they got a 3-stage buff out and then feathering around all the hucks. There's over 7,500 hucks we had to try and polish and blend around, and then where the upright supports met the slats, it had a hollow trough back in there that we had to use die grinders and Dremel tools and 1/2-inch wide polish sticks to sit there and blend and try to make things disappear. It was a chore.
Yeah, well, it turned out spectacular. I never dreamed when I first walked up to it, I was blown away like everybody else. And since then, I've talked about it with countless number of people. We talked about it, and and some people that weren't at Matt's, and I tried to get the point across to them, explain to them how much you put into it and what all was done just to get it to that point. It's a huge feat.
Yeah, it was definitely. It took longer than we anticipated, as we kind of went in it unknown. We didn't know what to expect or what to think, and we had 6 weeks in that trailer. I worked 6 to 7 days a week, and it was a chore.
Yeah, I had that part right. I was telling somebody, I think it was just maybe this weekend at the show, I was telling them about it. I was like, I think he worked on it like 5 or 6 weeks, and that's like all they did for 5 or 6 weeks was just work on this trailer.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work.
Yep.
Now, the thing that amazes me, is just you could have laid down. There's in anybody else's in any situation when they got hurt, when they got done. I know people that got hurt, and I know some people that have a similar story to yours, but I also know some people that don't. And you could have laid down, you could have used it as a crutch, used it as an excuse. You could have done anything like that. You could have done that, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You figured it out. You figured out how to not only make a living, but be very successful at it.
Yep. Yeah, I was luckily with how my dad raised me. I did a lot of jobs back in the day where you were alone out there, so you had to figure it out on your own, and it paid off in tenfold down the road when I had to figure out how to put life back together and make something out of nothing.
Right, and that's what I think when I met you, what resonated with me so much is that's just the same way that I was raised is, kind of the motto of whatever it takes.
Yep.
You know, we're gonna do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah, yeah, and
You know,
that's that
and
like in my tattoos, like this arm's kind of a bit of my story. I got the word relentless on my forearm because I can't give up. It's
Right.
if you give up, life wins.
Absolutely. Tell me about your show this year. I wasn't able to make it, which really upset me, but work and things like that happen, and
Yep.
I couldn't make it up here. Tell us about the show this year and how that was.
Yep. So after I got hurt, a lot of people donated to me and helped me in a time of need, which I didn't like, but unfortunately it was necessary. And I knew I couldn't pay those people back individually, so I figured I spent a few years trying to figure out how I could pay it forward in the world. And I came up with The Life Rolls On, a show for the kids. And it's a semi show that started right here in Cushing as a bobtail only show for 3 years. And all the money we raise, we donate to the children's side of Madonna in Omaha, Nebraska. And in the last 4 years, we were able to donate $35,000 to them. And then this year was the 5th annual show. And we had trucks from literally all around the country. I mean, we had a truck from Canada. King and Queen of Bling came down from Canada to be a part of the show with me. It was pretty cool to see how far the outreach of my show is starting to reach and gather interest. And I'm just excited to see what we can do for next year with it. And this year the big push was just trying to raise a lot of money, bring in more companies out of Sioux City, Iowa, is where we hold the show at the Tyson Event Center, and it's kind of a trucking hub. There's companies all over that are truck related, so getting all those smaller companies and try to put their names in the public's eye is a big thing I want.
It's a good place to have a show because there is a lot of good-looking trucks in Iowa, period. But like you said, in that area, this area around here, I mean, up and down. So what's this, 20?
Yep.
Out here, up and down 20. It's all day. It's just the truck stop that's right not far down the road here.
Yeah.
There's 10 good-looking cow trucks in there this morning. I stopped to get something to drink. So this is a great area. Anything up and then up and down 80, of course, is just you can sit at Iowa 80 and just me personally taking videos. I pull in there. Sometimes I drive by it because I know if I pull in there, what it's going to entail.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to sit there for 2 hours and take videos of trucks and talk to people, and just because that's what I like to do. That's what a big part of what I do. So, and do you have a date for next year?
I haven't
already or
picked a date out yet.
Okay.
We might aim for the same weekend in June. We hold it Father's Day weekend. And this year I might do a Friday, Saturday show instead of a Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So that way everybody can be back home with their fathers.
I think that's, I think that, well, not only that, but just even if it wasn't on Father's Day weekend, I think that a lot of times that's a better deal because people, even on a Saturday, people will shoot out of there sometimes early.
Get time to recoup and get back on the road.
Time to recoup because everybody's got to go back to work.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm looking at right now, is getting that date figured out and then figuring out how much we're able to donate this year after everything we brought in, which I know it's going to be the biggest year yet we've been able to donate. I can secure that much. I got a few bills left to pay for the show, and I want to make sure I don't extend too much and have to worry. So.
Right. Yeah. Now, you were telling me at Matt's, with the Life Rolls On Foundation and stuff like that, what's the average cost of a chair? That's what we were talking about there at Matt's, how much it costs for someone, a kid that gets disabled or something like that.
So an average wheelchair for myself, if you bought a name brand wheelchair, out of pocket, you're going to spend, for a manual wheelchair, you're spending $8,000 to $10,000 all said and done to get it comfortable for you. And if you need a power chair, when I got hurt, I was in a power chair full time because I almost ripped my left arm off as well. You're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 for that chair. It's the price of a car for the mobility object you need to have a life again.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is it's, and I think that's a big part. I think what you do is great because that's a big part of getting people to the stage that you are
Yep.
today. If they can get up and go, if they can start to do things on their own,
Yep.
be mobile, because let's be honest, it's depressing.
Yeah.
It can, and there's a lot of people that fall into a state of depression, and it's hard to dig out of that, and that's why they get down.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what they can do. They don't know what their limits are.
Yep.
They just,
And a lot of people get comfortable sitting in their own pity. They'll feel
Right.
sorry for themselves, and they won't push or explore the boundaries of what they can be capable of. And I hope by doing what I do for a living with polishing semis, and doing the show and just going around and speaking and telling my story, that I can help others push the boundaries, like explore life, like don't be scared to fail, like let some failure happen so you know what doesn't work, and if it don't work the first time, figure out something better for the second time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm thankful that we met. I'm
Yeah.
thankful that we, got to talk so much at Matt's and got to become friends and all, because this is definitely a story that needs to be told. It's definitely a story that can motivate others. That
Yep.
whatever it takes mentality, that figure it out mentality is definitely a deal. Tell us anything you got coming up. Are you going to be anywhere at shows or
Yep.
be anywhere?
I'll be going to actually Boise, Idaho, to work with the Express Pressure Wash Company out there for a week, here in the middle of August, which is pretty cool. That my business has gotten to where people want me to come kind of show them how I do what I do on semis. So I'll be out there for a week, and then from there, I know I will I'll be going over to J.R. Schluger's show, the No Coach show at the end of August over in Forest City. That show is always a phenomenal time and just a beautiful show. And then after that, I know we'll be in Atlanta in November with Andy Getch's Cab Over and the Cattle Pot. We got invited to go down there at Louisville, so we'll be down there getting it all ready for the week and see what we can do down there.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully I can, two things. Hopefully I can make it to your show next year, and that would be definitely a goal. And hopefully I'll be able to see you in Atlanta, and we'll
Yeah.
be able to further expand on this deal.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
appreciate you asking me to come out here today, and appreciate you asking me to be the one to put this out there. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, man.